And there's the laugh point.
We did it.
Hi, how's it going? Welcome to Basements and Besties, the Dark Lanterns of Sharn. My name is Will Tramp, or this FNGM if you follow me on any social media, anything. I am the narrator for this wonderful game with my wonderful besties, and we are going to be playing some Level Up A5 Advanced 5th Edition by Ian Publishing, who sponsors us. Woohoo!
Yay!
Woo! Thanks for the sponsorship and the money. We are playing a delightful game set in Eberron, but before we really jump into getting started, I do want to introduce a brand new person to the table. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Dennis McGowan.
Hi!
Unfortunately, we all made noise at the same time, so as a result, the camera did not go to Dennis. So,
Hi!
There it is.
no, again, you're all making noise.
Call it.
Our camera works in that it recognizes noise, and if everyone's making noise, then the camera just stays where it is.
Moo!
That's okay. We'll figure this out eventually. It'll eventually pop over. Anyway, Dennis, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself? How long have we known each other?
Oh, we have known each other for a little over 17, almost 18 years. We've been playing D&D for 17 of it.
Yeah. That first year, we were unsure if
we played a lot of Magic for
we
the
played
first
a
year.
lot of Magic the Gathering.
But that's because you were working most of the time. So,
yeah.
we were playing while you were working.
Yeah.
Good work ethic. But,
totally got fired from that job. That's okay. That's okay.
Besides that, I've been playing TTRPGs since about 6th grade, 7th grade, so 30 plus years, 35 years. God, I'm old.
Well, not only are you playing TTRPGs, but you're also writing one?
I am. I'm in the middle of creating a small adventure that some friends of mine are about to put on Kickstarter in about a month.
What's it called?
It is called UK the Fire, and it's in the Shadowdark RPG realm.
By the time this episode comes out, that Kickstarter may be over, but if it's not, go buy it because it's good stuff.
And our socials will still be up at that point, so look there.
Yeah, mainly do that. Yeah, that too. All right. And we'll put that social down in the doobly-doo thing. Okay, so with that, we are going to go... now, the thing is, Dennis's character has not been introduced yet, so as a result, we're not going to talk about your character. So when we do this next part, you are not a part of it. Dennis. I'm so sorry. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I do this every time. How have we been friends for 18 years?
I like Shane.
That's like Shane. Okay, that's very fun. Okay, so tonight's question for the rest of you delightful people. Tonight's question for your characters. Tell us about your first love. Okay? We're going to go ahead and start with Cassie.
As a reminder, I play Adelaide Oleander, a human bard, whose story has stepped outside of her dragon-marked house, and I think, of course, Adelaide's first love was her dad's. She is a daddy's girl, ×2.
Yeah?
Yep.
Is there one of them that you love slightly more than the other?
No,
Wow.
No, they are both wonderful, amazing, unique men in their own ways.
What do you think, what are each of their, what would you say are, no, they're both wonderful men, and I would absolutely agree with that. I mean, I play the two of them. What would you say are their biggest strengths between the two of them?
Seamus, who we have met, is an amazing organizer. He works as a station master and is very much a leader in Adelaide's eyes. I think his leadership skills and his organization are something that comes even into the home life. He is the neat, the tidy, the organized one.
Okay.
And then Taryn, I think it's from Taryn that she gets her compassion and empathy. I think he is a very empathetic soul. And so I think some of that has rubbed off, I like to think anyways, on Adelaide.
Wonderful. All right, well, that's a fantastic answer for Adelaide. We're going to move from Adelaide over to Connor.
Hi.
Ah!
Hi, I'm Connor. I play Colton, a human warlock who made a deal with death, but he didn't read the fine terms. I think Colton's first love, probably when he was about 16, a sweet dwarvish girl named Paulina. had a little crush on her, went to the same church as him and his family, but pretty soon he was old enough to join the military, and serving his country was more important. But I think seeing his parents in a very genuine, loving relationship had a big influence on him. So like he believes very much as a romantic kind of person in his own way.
So for Colton, was that love for Paulina? Was that requited, unrequited? Did she ever know?
I don't think she did. Maybe they were close, and maybe she kind of got a hint. But he was a nervous, scrawny little kid. So he was not scrawny. He was a mason's son, so he was not scrawny. But he was nervous. Probably never really got the nerve to tell her, and then mandatory military service comes and things happen. So I don't think he's seen her. You die.
You
I
die.
don't think he hasn't seen her since.
Oh.
Probably just living her life somewhere.
Interesting. Well, yeah, that maybe. I wonder how Colton would feel about trying to look her up. I don't know. And maybe something happens. Okay, speaking of, I don't have a good transition.
Me, Colin.
Colin.
Hi, I'm Colin. I play Brock, the bugbear berserker who finds life a little bit dull without an explosion every now and then. His first love was a platonic one, and it was when he was exposed to the amazing world of controlled explosions. He first sort of learned about it from a fellow Breland soldier, a gnome by the name of Lucille, who was a member of the Bear Claws. This was before he was actually enlisted to join the unit, or when he was moved into that unit. But yeah, he watched her blow up an Ondarian emplacement, and the rest is history.
The rest is freaking history. Speaking of Lucille, where's she at nowadays?
She died.
She did?
Yeah.
It happened.
She and a large portion of the Bear Claw unit was on Siren soil on the day of mourning.
Oh, right.
It's only by lucky circumstance that Brock was not with them on that day.
Right, that's right. I'm sorry to bring that up.
Yeah.
Well, on that down note, let's go ahead and...
Sorry, you asked.
No, I know, it's my fault. Okay, I forget. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to Sarah.
I gotta start off with my name. I'm Sarah Draver playing Deidre, a human rogue who's trying to find her place in a world without war. And Deidre's first love was actually one of those yuppies that come down from up on high.
Oh, no!
Lower Dura. But he wasn't like a jerk, he was a good guy. And she was too shy, and this is when she was younger. They were about like 8. She was too shy to talk to him and play with him while he was down there, and so she started sneaking up to the higher levels to like see him or like just watch him. And then she kept doing it, get like older, and then she introduced herself, and then it turned out that he didn't remember her.
Oh.
But if you look in one of her books, it's a small, tiny, like leather-bound notebook, and it has a small flower in the back, and he gave that to her when he was in Lower Dura, and she kept it the whole time.
That's really sweet.
Once she found out that he did not remember her, how did she react to that? I wonder.
She tried to blow it off, like, "Oh, this guy you confused with someone else," and then kind of just walked away.
Oh, I figured she would have stolen his watch.
You'll fucking remember me now, won't you?
Don't remember? Oh, you don't remember my face? Cool. That won't hold up in a court of law.
Nah.
All right, so
First love, not first job.
last week's episode. Last episode, not last week. I keep pretending like we're on week. We're not on week by week. Okay, let's talk about last episode. Things that happened. Everything started off with a pretty big bang.
Yeah.
So good. Super good. Colin, why don't you go and tell us
People
what's...
died, Will.
Yeah, why don't you go and tell us... And what? Tell us what happened.
Well, there was a sudden explosion in the market on Clifftop.
Mystic Market, yeah.
Yeah. By the time we got there, there were already multiple buildings on fire, and yeah, fortunately we were able to sort of get into action and rescue a few people from these burning buildings, but not all of them.
In fact, one of the people that you did were able to rescue was one of your very own. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about your very own? I believe you're the one who pulled him out of the fire.
Yeah, so I ran into one of the burning buildings, and Kelsis was there because he had gone down to the market with Ron McGurty, and I was able to get him out of that burning building.
Kelsis being one of the Clifftop orphans.
Yep.
The one with the tiefling boy, the one with the eye patch.
Sweet little tiefling who just thinks he's a great archer.
Yeah, and why was he in the market in the first place?
He was in the market because Ron McGurty had taken him down to the market so that he could get him away after he had gotten caught trying to steal from Brock.
Which no one has told him about still.
What?
I mean, stuff has happened, man.
Okay, so
Stuff has
Ron
happened.
McGurty. So the buildings are on fire. You managed to save a good amount of people and start putting the fires out. And you managed to save Kelsis, but we will kind of highlight now that we're emphasizing that Kelsis was saved. Why don't you go ahead, Cassie, and tell us what happened?
So we did find, after putting out the fires, with the help of some of the onlookers, we contained fires. We did find that Ron McGurty had died.
Ron McGurty has died.
In the initial blast, saving Kelsis and another boy by shielding them, pushing them inside. He sacrificed himself to try and save others.
That is true. By the way, real quick, our friend Dennis here has been trying to watch the episodes to try to catch up. But we have not put out these episodes that we're talking about.
Spoiler warning.
So spoiler alert, Dennis.
He's learning
Good
with
to
you,
know.
the audience.
You're just going to skip a whole jump in time and go, oh no.
So much sadness.
Okay, so an investigation began to commence. Trying to see if you could find any, because there were some irregularities in regards to the scene. Once things began to calm down enough, and you could start to focus on kind of what started this fire. Sarah, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about what was found out?
So we started doing a basic investigation and found out a couple of interesting things. One, it appeared that the center of the blast was focused on a gnome, who we later find out is actually related in some way to our good friend.
We'll get that into
Oh,
that
okay.
in a minute, though. But tell us what you found at the scene.
We found explosion. We found two buried dragon-marked men close to the gnome. We heard from witnesses that there was a Nimblewright that was actually the person that caused the blast.
Now, real quick, I want to pause on that for a second. We're going to come right back to you in a minute. But Brock, or Colin, why don't you go and tell us what the Nimblewright is?
By the way, I appreciate that you're already referring to me as Brock. That really solidifies me in my character. Nimblewright, as we learned last week, is a highly agile automaton. Not a warforged, but another creation of sort of the arcane science of Eberron.
Made specifically by who? Did I give you guys that
I
information?
believe Kenneth East?
Kenneth East, yes. Kenneth East, they are a prototype. They are also known as the Ondarian Second, as they are basically fencing robots, or fencing constructs that are being developed not by Kenneth West, which you would expect being an Ondare, but rather in Kenneth East, although Kenneth East. Now, moving back over here to Sarah real quick. So you people began to speak of this Nimblewright, and what do they say about the Nimblewright specifically?
They said that he wore a big floppy hat,
Sure.
and described him like in the resemblance of a famous, like he was a person almost, in the way that he
Had
acted.
the Van Dyke beard and
And then he used a necklace that was later discovered by, I believe, Colton. Yeah. And that was what caused the blast.
Well, tell us a little bit more about that necklace, Colton.
It was a magic item called a necklace of fireballs.
Ooh.
It lets you pluck off one of the gems on it to cast a fireball, which is pretty scary in a crowded marketplace.
Yes. Okay. So, after these investigations and finding out a couple of these clues, the Sharn City Watch appeared and took control of the scene. You were unfortunately not really able to glean much information at that point from the scene itself, if I'm not mistaken. So, you then headed back to the White Stag Tavern, where you were joined by one of your good friends,
Bonal Arnalvio.
and he had some news for you.
Yes, he actually was coming to find us because turns out the gnome that was at the center of the blast, named Dalakar, was a sort of former colleague or employee of some sort to his father, the Lord Arnalvio, and had been he's been following Bonal and wanted to meet with Bonal. But before they seemingly met, he was killed. Oh my god, I can't read my writing. For the last few months, he had been following him. He worked for his father, but he had disappeared a month or so ago, just before Bonal was taken, which is how we first met Bonal. The previous night, he sent an urgent message to Bonal wanting to discuss something valuable for his father.
And just a point of order, where was that meeting place going to be, Colin? Ooh, does anybody remember where the meeting place was supposed to be?
The White Stag.
The White Stag now. Oh, yeah. So, now, one last thing is that you heard a rumor from your two twin cooks, Jonathan and Mikkel. Mikkel? Markle. Dang it. You said it was
I
Mikkel.
thought it was Jarn and Mark for short.
Jarn and Mark. Right, Jarn and Mark. Jarn and Mark gave you a couple of kind of a lead on the Nimblelites. What were you told?
That there was a float that was advertising the nibble rights for it's a long name, something of tears.
Pool of Onatar's tears.
Yes, that is correct. So we will open up the scene. I'm sorry.
There's one more important thing. On the gnome's shoes was excrement smell of the sewers.
That is correct. Also, by the way, I should also point out that you did meet somebody who you got some of the information from was a man unfamiliar to you who seemed quite a bit standoffish, and you tried to read his mind, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I did not handle that.
Yes. So that's this man.
Yeah, no name.
Right here. Oh yeah, no name. This man. We're gonna call him this man.
That guy.
This man.
Hey.
You spoke to this man. All right, so we go ahead and open up the scene. You are sitting in the White Stag Tavern in the common room. You've just been hit with this information. Bonal Arnalvio has left. Gertie Dune has gone back to kind of getting things ready for the day. Jonathan and Markle are back in the kitchen, whipping up something that smells decent enough. And here you are sitting at the table alone with these plotting your next steps.
Well, I mean, sorry, you go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, there can't be that many nimble rights in the city, I wouldn't think. So I feel like the Pool of Onatar's Tears might be our best lead to start with.
Yeah.
Does anybody know anything about the Pool of Onatar's Tears? I'm not familiar.
Do we?
We were told about a float.
Why don't you go ahead and give me a knowledge of religion check? We're going to go to our resident... Well, I guess rather than ask me, why don't you guys ask your resident expert in religion?
You know about religious stuff.
Onatar, by the way, being one of the main gods of Evron, the sovereign host.
Mm-hmm. You go to service once in your life and tell everyone thinks you're an expert.
Yeah.
Nat 20 for a 21.
Hey.
That's why.
That's why we ask.
Okay. Well, since you've only been in service once in your life, I'm going to modify the information.
No,
Is that the canon you want to put?
It's a joke.
So the Pool of Onotar's Tears is a holy site. In fact, it's a site of pilgrimage found in the actual city of Sharn. So something to know about Sharn is that Sharn is actually built over volcanic lava flows that flow into the Dagger River and deep beneath the ground. These lava flows give Sharn and Breland overall a huge edge in industrial, basically works of industry, because they have access to a never-ending forge flow, right? Now, source of heat. Now, the Pool of Onotar's Tears is an anomaly. It is said, you've never been there, but it is said to be a pool of the most crystal clear water, surrounded by lava flows. This pool of crystal clear, cold water that stays inexplicably cold despite the heat in the area. The area, by the way, it's located in the Cogs. The Cogs is the industrial district below the city, specifically in an area known as Black Bones. The Pool of Onotar's Tears is the reason why it's called the Pool of Onotar's Tears, because it has been found that when the water from this pool is used in conjunction with smithing, that it can produce greater works than one might find most anywhere else. So Onotar, being a deity of the forge and artifice, many of his faithful, who also tend to be craftsmen, and specifically blacksmiths, will make a pilgrimage to the Pool of Onotar's Tears to work on their greatest works.
I relay that to the group.
It's starting to make more sense that they would have a, nimble right in their float.
Hey, wouldn't your dad know something good about that place? Like maybe.
Yeah, probably.
By the way, with that nat 20, so we're playing A5E. So with that nat 20, what I'm going to give you is, if you personally need to make any charisma-based skills within the Pool of Onotar's Tears, you will have expertise dice on any interaction. That's your benefit with the nat 20. You've seen these people, you've worked with many of the followers, you know how to speak their language. So, and you have a healthy respect for what, maybe you have a healthy respect for what they do, I don't know. But yes, that is your benefit.
Awesome. Yeah, most likely they used probably the tears themselves to forge those nimble rights. Probably pretty proud of them. That's what I would guess.
Seems like a good place to start then.
Well, if we want to take a minute after what happened, but if we want to head right on down, I'll get my boots on.
Well, I want to find out who did this.
McCurdy's dead, and we did make a promise to Grenadiers. So we got two ways of doing it. We can either go directly to the Pool of Tears, or I can ask about the Aberamax from the friend.
Well, but your friend, correct me if I'm wrong, you are not going to be able to talk to him until nighttime because of your little signal in the window?
Yeah, but I can let him know.
Right, but if we're talking about immediacy, that was not an open window for immediate action.
Right. I'm just saying we got hours to go. Also checking in on task.
Speaking of checking in, we should probably check in with
Command.
Yes.
As you say that, you begin to hear the sound of heavy footsteps above your head, probably somewhere in the manor above.
Those aren't the kids, so I'm going to run up.
Yep.
I don't know who's upstairs.
Yeah, I'll follow. Right behind her.
You run upstairs, and as you are running upstairs, you see you see the three cliff-top orphans. They're both they are comforting Kelsis as they are, but they also look somewhat sulky themselves as they are walking down the stairs from your front door. As they see you, they say we were told to leave, and then they just sort of scurry off. You see that the front door to the manor is wide open.
Yep, Beatfoot.
As you enter the manor, you find that there are two figures sitting inside of your personal common room. You see the familiar face of Assistant Inspector General Stover Delft, and you see a very unfamiliar face standing beside him. Now, Stover is currently using his cane to poke at your rug before he then steps on it, and as he crosses over towards a chair. But what draws your attention probably more than seeing your boss in your house is the figure with him. So why don't you go ahead and explain who they see, Dennis?
Next to him, you see a about 6-foot figure. Right now, you're kind of seeing a side profile, and in that profile, it looks like it's a person fully dressed. However, when you see the head, the front portion looks to be made of wood. The features, the nose, the eyes are almost made of wood, and then from a bit here back is actually metal going down to the neck. He wears clothes, but when you look at his hands, the hands are wood, but at the knuckle points, they're almost like metal bearings, and his feet are built about the same with metal plates. He is in a pair of pants that are very reminiscent of the store across the street.
What do they look like?
They look like almost like a pair of parachute pants, but they're tapered, almost what we would say as a Middle Eastern style pair of pants. These, however, have a swirl design all the way down. Very mute colors, though, compared to what the actual design is. You would expect really bright colors, but we found a very nice muted color palette for it.
Very tasteful.
Tasteful. A tasteful paisley, you would say. And he's in a shirt. It's a full long sleeve, goes all the way down to his wrists, and it looks like it's almost a jersey mesh type creation, but it is a button up as if it was a business shirt, but it definitely has give.
You see a Warforged standing before you. As the three of you rush in, you note that for some reason Deirdre is not in the room with you. Stover has finished poking at a large armchair. I don't know who owns the armchair.
I probably got it for us.
Yeah. And he sits down in the big plush, the most comfortable looking armchair in the room. Sits down, turns around, looks at all of you, and goes, "Well, this is what an interesting day."
That's a nice way of putting it.
RJ, this is the crew. The crew, this is RJ.
Pleased to meet you.
Why don't y'all have a seat? Where's Deirdre?
She said she had to grab something real quick.
Yeah, nature calls, I understand. Sit down. I don't have a lot of time, so you got to explain some of this to her whenever she decides to make her acquaintance. Why were there children running around in this here building?
Because they live here.
I'm sorry, what?
They're staying here.
In a government-owned building.
Well, but nobody else knows that it's government-owned.
So you brought a bunch of precocious children into... Oh my...
Sir, if I may.
You may...
They did seem quite pleasant, though, and they're right. It would camouflage it. RJ?
Children, spies... I know that some of the plays that Fairleon puts on kind of romanticizes that idea, but it's never a good idea. Trust me, it's never a good idea. You know what? I'll let you figure that out on your own. A bunch of assassins come after you and kill those kids. Well, that's not going to be on my head, that's for sure. That was over dramatic. My apologies. Say, did you all notice there's a big old explosion just a few blocks away from here?
We just came from there.
I can tell you all look like you're covered in soot and covered in burn marks. Oh, you look a mess. What's that all about?
We're currently trying to investigate that. There seems to be a nimble right through a fireball bead at a gnome named Dalakar, a gnome that's been trailing our friend Bona Arnelview. Seems to have some previous engagement with Bonell's father.
Familiar with the name Dalakar. As you know, we've been trailing Bonell for quite some time ourselves as an organization. I remember in some of the reports reading about a gnomish figure by the name of Dalakar, associated with his father's, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, real piece of work, that guy.
Well, Dalakar's dead.
That'll be more paperwork. Wonderful, 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 wonderful.
We believe he may have been the target of the assassination, but we're not exactly sure why.
An assassination by a nimble rat?
That was what was described.
And a not subtle one.
What's a nimble rat?
Autonomous constructs. This one's what made it look like an expert fencer.
Yeah,
famous one.
Looks like a duelist.
So,
I know about number rights.
yeah, so you actually know a little. I'm going to give this to you. Here's what you know about number rights. Number rights are built by a new construct being created by the Technomancers of Caneth East, based on Zendrek designs of the Sulot nimble right. Sulot being a group of artificers from Zendrek.
Sir, that's the design that's coming out of the. Sir, that's the design that's coming out of the east, off of the Zendrick design, I believe.
You wrote a report on that, didn't you?
Yeah.
I don't read those. Look, I just turn them in. Middle management, right? All right. Well, good. Then aren't you all so very lucky that I'm here to? Oh, look, who decided to join us, Deirdre? We're nature calling.
Yeah. That's what was happening, yeah.
This is RJ, Deirdre, RJ. In fact, all of you introduce yourselves to RJ. Be polite.
I'm Deirdre, RJ.
Nice to meet you, ma'am.
RJ, Colton.
Sir?
And Brock, nice to meet you.
Sir?
Oh, it's done by hand. Adelaide Oleander.
Yeah.
Now, they were just getting me caught up to speed on this whole what with the nimble right and the fireball out in the market out there. Said you already started looking into it.
We were just discussing that, and we're going to report to you as well. There's a possible lead, Pool of Onatar's Tears. Seemed to...
Really?
Yes.
You familiar?
It's in my district, sir.
Well, where's your district again?
Sorry, it's down in the where I'm living. It's the closest thing we have to a church down there.
Right.
Down in the cogs. So.
Oh, Blackbones.
Yeah,
that's
Blackbones.
right. That's right. You're from Blackbones. My apologies. All right. Well, isn't it fortuitous then that I brought RJ along? Look, I don't need to know all the nitty gritty details of what may be happening. What I want you to do though is continue with taking that initiative and look into this. This could be an attack. It could be an attack by foreign. Obviously, you're mentioning House Caneth East. Well, that's located in Karnoth. So this could be an issue. This could be all kinds of things. Before we start speculating as to and raising the panic alarms, we should spend some. I want you all to spend some time, find out what information you can, find out the source of what's going on here. Sound about good?
Yes, sir.
Get back to me when you have some concrete details. Now, on a completely unrelated note, we got to. Why do you look so pale? I'm not usually one to comment on a woman's looks. Your business, but you look like you've been hit with a hammer a couple times.
I mean, I did kind of get severely beaten, but...
Oh, I ain't got a report about that. Another personal endeavor?
Yes.
I've told you guys stop getting into trouble and picking fights with people. You'd get yourself killed one of these days, and then, well, let me tell you something. Home office don't got the money to bring you back.
Yep.
Yep. We'll keep that in mind, sir.
Good. Of course, you can get a bank loan if you need to, I suppose. But all right, he kind of starts to lean over, and then he realizes that there's a small end table beside him, and he kind of like jerks back and pulls out and like clutches his cane. Yeah. All right.
Everything all right, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I do something odd to you?
No, sir. Soot in my lungs.
Kind of shifts his weight over. You know how I got this bum leg, don't you, Colton?
Actually, no, sir.
Out in the field, doing some field work. Tried to open a door that we were pretty sure was gonna lead us to where the big bad was hiding. Turns out that door weren't a door at all, but a mimic. Damn near chewed my entire leg off. Mimics. Whew. Let me tell you, a 10-foot pole, probably one of those useful things you can get yourself. If you end up going in a certain place. Of course, that's not very conspicuous, so I use a cane. Also on account of a bum leg. Anyway, now, we need to talk a little bit about that whole Bone Eller Nelview situation. As you can imagine, that required a ridiculous amount of paperwork for me to fill out. And it hit me a little bit. It's like, you know what probably could have helped me from having to do all that paperwork is if one of the four of you had the foresight to remember how these things are supposed to go. Well, luckily for me, I've got RJ. RJ here, one of the best in the business. Man, this Warforged here, this fine Warforged, is basically a walking encyclopedia of Dark Lantern rules and regulations.
Oh.
He doesn't need to carry the book, he basically is the book. And I thought to myself, well, I've been so lucky to have somebody like RJ with me. I should be sharing that wealth. I should be sharing that with my prized and wonderful team. That would be you guys.
Thank you, sir.
So I'm giving you RJ. My apologies. RJ is volunteer. He is not property. I read the court edicts. My apologies for that, RJ.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Now RJ here is he has agreed very generously to assist you in getting yourselves a little bit more organized, a little bit back on the right track. You understand my meaning? Let me rephrase that. My apologies. I shouldn't have looked directly at you when I said that. What I meant was, do you understand my meaning?
Yes, sir.
Ah, like that little attitude, a little bit of spice on that. Keeps things going. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yep.
Uh-huh. All right, now, RJ here is going to be left behind to make sure that you guys do what you do best. He is not here to interfere. He is here to lift you up and lower my stack of paperwork. You understand what I'm saying here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right. RJ, I'm going to leave you in their capable hands. I have to see a man about a horse. That's not a euphemism for pissing. I need to literally go talk to a House Vidalis member about getting myself a horse because, well, walking on this damn thing in the city is a pain in the ass. He gets up and starts to head towards the door, and then he stops and goes, "Oh, my apologies. You're already whispering? I haven't even walked out the door yet. Well, I guess that's why you're whispering, not saying it out loud. Questions, comments, concerns for me? RJ, you have any questions for me?"
No, sir. I'll keep the paperwork off your desk.
That's what I'd like to hear.
Just as we had talked about House Dask, and people were looking into that. House Dask might also be connected to this. There's a clue that indicates such.
Look into that too. Look into all the clues. You hear something, you look into it. You understand? Get the full picture. Because I only want to write one report. Alright? No edits afterwards.
We'll get back to you when we have something you can work with.
You get back to me when you have something you can work with. Run it through RJ first. He'll let you know if it's worth me hearing about it or not.
Sure.
Of course, if you need anything, do of course call as your temporary field leader until we find you a suitable replacement. I am at your beck and call at any. Just kidding. He walks towards just turns and tries to walk out the front door. Realizes it's closed because Deirdre closed it behind her. Hits it with the cane, then opens it and leaves.
RJ listens to make sure he hears him completely go and leaves.
Yes.
As soon as he's actually on the street and leaves, you see his shoulders drop just a little, grabs a chair, puts it around. Alright, so I do have to make sure I keep paperwork off that man's desk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But he's right, I'm not here to fuck with the way you guys do shit.
well, okay.
Oh, well. You just went up like 5 points in my book. All right.
He's sitting on the chair backwards. He's the cool cat.
He's the cool substitute teacher.
RJ's character themes: Warforged, Dark Lantern? Cool. Pulls out a cigarette, he just like starts packing it, but he doesn't smoke it, he just packs it and then puts it back into his shirt, just like...
Now, I do have to say, we really do have to follow some things because that man will make me go back to the office.
Oh yeah.
And I don't need that.
Yeah, a whole lot of stuff just started making sense in that whole conversation. Like, wow.
I'd much rather be out here. So, if we can figure out a way to be copacetic where maybe not cause as much issues, and I will help you guys get the message to him so he only has to write it once.
I mean, we don't set out to try to break protocol or, you know...
Protocols tend to fail when they're around us. That's all I'm saying.
It's...
And I will try to bring them back in, okay? This...
D, what's wrong?
This guy trying to be friendly, but really is the teacher's pet. Look, I'm
You're
one
right,
of you.
man. No.
I'm one of you guys.
I'm not
in
one of
the
you.
group.
By the way, that
State
whole
the
line,
regulation.
that whole line about regulations fail around us, he's rubbing his temple with the tip of his wand while he's saying that. Just like,
11 subsection
Hold on, real
6.
quick, one second. I just want to remind everybody that wands are the equivalent of guns.
Yes.
So he's just like taking it like,
No!
oh boy!
he's doing
What's
the
the
cowboy-
worst
he's
that can
doing
happen?
You know how
He's doing the
regulations be.
He's doing the cowboy thing where he's like,
Is that something in the barrel?
So
Let me
is
look
this
that out
loaded?
real quick. No, I'm sorry. It's funny as hell.
oh no, ruin the image, it's okay.
I'm just saying, at least to start, meet me in the middle. Because
If
I
you
don't
can-
want to be where he wants me to be.
Okay, if you can say one bad thing about that guy that you don't like.
Yeah, he's middle management full of it. He doesn't want to do his job.
That's all you got. That's all you got for that guy.
He said one bad thing.
I
You
didn't
asked
say
for one
bad
thing, I gave you one
It
thing.
did not help.
Dude, first day in class, don't be mean to the
Ask
new
me
kid.
the correct question when you want it then, ma'am.
I want to know where you stand with him.
Yeah,
I think he's a horse's ass that doesn't deserve his position.
I stand with the lanterns.
I stand with the lanterns. I don't stand with that guy.
Now let's real quick remember that Dennis has only met this guy once,
Once.
and does not have the long history.
I know.
So let's not grill Dennis's new character.
I'm not trying.
Too
I'm not
hard.
trying
No,
to grill
no.
him.
We've said it about 4 times at this point.
All right, back to business.
Back to business.
Yeah.
Rules of Onatar's tiers.
Yeah, I mean, you already heard kind of where we're at with the current investigation, so...
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So what's regulation? What's next?
Well, this is an interesting one because this mixes regulation with home, which I guess you guys tend to do a lot, seeing as you got a fireball over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, definitely, you guys already said you want to go down, look into it. It's nice enough. I actually have visited there many times. We shouldn't have a problem being down and around there.
It's a lovely place.
I don't know if they will have any services or if the caretaker would even be in today. But we can definitely go down. Do I know if there's been any hints or rumors or anything down there of new rights being?
Nope.
Okay. As far as I know, I haven't heard anything down there just being in the streets down there. So we will actually have to, talk to people and find out around there. Now, I won't lie.
All this is the detective work.
I won't lie.
That's our job.
The actual pools might not yield a lot, but just like any place else, there is a bar near there, and bars are always a place to get some good information that we may be able to look into.
Yeah. Since you're the new guy and you know all the rules, why don't you lead the way?
Yeah, I did not say I was a leader. He said, "Help you guys understand."
You
But
know
you
the
do
way
know
Colton?
the area.
I know the way. Let's go. Let me get my hat.
Okay, now using these fancy here maps. Here's what I'll let you know. I'll let you do your own investigation work here. These are currently in Clifftop. you are needing to get to Blackbones. Now, Blackbones is not going to be located on the map because it is located actually underneath the city. But the two of you would know that the way into Blackbones is actually through a district called Cogsgate and Tavix Landing.
Yeah, then that is likely where we can do.
That'd be Cogsgate and Tavix Landing. Now, you've heard of this, you know this. I'll just give you the information. You've heard of it, you know this. Cogsgate is in east lower Tavix Landing,
Okay.
so you'll need to get across town.
So we'll need to get.
Now it's about noon-ish at this point. So how would you like to how would you like to get to Cogsgate?
Time is of the essence. I feel like maybe taking the Sky Coach might be the fastest way to move it.
It's been a very active morning. I wasn't wanting to walk, so that's fine with me.
I mean, if we're trying to investigate something, why don't we just use, some of the shortcuts I know? If you tell me where to go, I can probably figure out a way to get there without us being seen.
Okay.
And, okay. Now I will let you know, Sky Coach is faster. Your way is faster than walking and being unseen if you wish to travel in such a way to where you as people aren't seen. But that's
It's slower than the Sky Coach.
it is slower than Sky Coach. So my only question for you would be is if this is stealth needed at this time?
My concern is the nimble right saw us, and if we come down to around where he is and we're openly looking for the nimble right that could have seen us because we were there, then that would be a problem.
Okay, sure. And I figured this is something your character would know.
Yeah.
And that's not to question your decision making. I just want to make sure that you understand what your character knows.
Yeah.
So you guys have decided to take the back alleys to the other side of town. To get to Blackbones, this would normally be a 4-hour journey. With having the time, it's a 2-hour journey to walk there. So you about 2 hours later, you find yourself entering the cogs. Now, the towers of Sharn they reach up to the sky, but its tunnels stretch deep down into the earth, and this is far below. Far below the city is a realm called the Cogs. Now, specifically, you are headed to Blackbones. Blackbones, as you arrive in the district, heat and the smell of smoke fills the air. The long passages are dimly lit and coated with soot, and the inhabitants here, you can see, seem to be fairly dour folk who seem very focused on the work that they are doing in various foundries and such all around you. The heat here is intense, and there's a large presence of warforged, as you can see through the area. It does not take you long to find your destination, which is a location called the Pool, the Onatar's Tears.
Ooh. Whoa. That looks really cool.
Yes, unfortunately, you at home, you can't see what I've done because I did not set up the battle camera today.
It looks really great.
Take our
We
word
can post
for it.
pictures
It's
on social
cool.
media, though.
Really great.
That's true. We
Totally
can.
do that.
The Pool of Onatar's Tears. The Pool of Onatar's Tears. Again, is a bizarre phenomenon. A small pool of cold, crystal clear water surrounded by a larger pool of blazing lava. You can see that built around the pool here is a set of magically infused stone like catwalk. I would say, and there are various. There's a large forge area, and the forges here burn so hot they burn with a blue fire. As you enter this area, you can see that a number of smithies are at work in here, working on all kinds of wondrous works of metal art. And towards the back, you can hear this. Or in the middle of the pool, you see erected is a statue of what appears to be a large dwarf with a hammer in one hand and tongs in the other. Depicting, as the two of you know, Onatar, the god of the forge. and you can hear from towards the very back, kind of echoing throughout this the stone forged chamber. You hear the sound of like a loud boisterous voice, preaching the merits of the forge. I say it's hard work that brings us all together. Warforged, dwarf, human, shifter, all of us together by the work and dedication that we do. We are separated from the beasts themselves by our ability to forge with metal and to create works of art such as you, brother, and you, sister. And then you, as you kind of turn the corner, you see that there's a warforged, very big warforged, who's with a big blocky like bucket helm. Over his, he's wearing a helm, wearing like a suit of like armor, which is very odd because you can see that underneath, instead of flesh, there's more metal. And then with a large tabard depicting hammer and tongs over it, and this warforged is points to you. Even you, brother, we have all been brought together by the great works of smithing, and smithing is a gift from Onatar himself.
Well, above board question, just since Colton knows a lot about this place, do the clergy of this area have a title for themselves that they prefer to be addressed by?
Yeah.
What is that? I'm sorry.
That sounds like a question that could be found through role playing, I think. Yeah. Let's find out through role playing.
Sorry, I thought that 20 would not do that.
It would. I just don't know the answer. Yes, there is an answer. You know the answer. You know. I'm sorry. Actually, let's. I'll do you one better. You tell me.
Oh,
Yeah. You tell me. What are they called?
forge rights.
Forge rights. There we go. Rather than get flustered, why don't I just let you help?
I like the sound of
Create.
Forge rights. Okay.
I'm nudging Brock in the back, like, what kind of place, buddy?
Yeah.
Maybe you should come down here more often, make some frame mountains.
Maybe I should build a workshop.
Now go forth and bring your creations to being. Onatar wills it so. And the priest steps down from the little makeshift pulpit back here. It's like imagine instead of a wooden lectern, it's like this big it's like an anvil that's been like stretched up.
Oh, dear.
So it's like solid metal.
So it's very...
Yeah, it's just like a stretched anvil that he has this book, and when he closes it, you see it has like an obsidian cover.
Colton,
Yeah.
I mean, you're kind of like
Yeah.
the guy.
Yeah, I'll kind of, as he's stepping off the iron pulpit, I'll kind of approach. Forgery, sir.
Yes, hello.
Hi there. Wonderful sermon. Hope you don't mind. Me and some friends had come down. Just looking for a little bit of information if you've got a few minutes of time.
Of course. Are you one of the faithful? Are you looking to get to use one of Onatar's mighty forges?
I'm a faithful of the 12, but I must say my worship of Onatar is not quite as studious as others, so I do apologize.
I see. Well, I can certainly enlighten you. Forge Smith is my name.
Colton, pleasure to meet you, sir.
And who might the rest of you be? Brother...
Nice to see you again, brother RJ.
My apologies, RJ. It's been quite a bit of time.
It has been. It's been a bit since I've been able to be by.
Look at you. You've grown.
The evolutions have happened recently.
Yes. I too find myself in various stages of change. Onatar's blessing.
Onatar's blessing.
So, Forgery, we're very interested. We know that the pool is going to have a float in the coming parade, and you're going to be showing off some...
I believe you are mistaken. The parade was yesterday.
Was it yesterday? My apologies. My brain's a little rattled. But you had on display some very impressive autonomous constructs. some nimblerites.
Just one.
Just the one?
Yes, we have recently purchased a nimblewright to help with a wondrous display of Onatar's inspiration. I believe developed by the mage rights of House Cannith in East.
Yes.
I suppose is what they call themselves. The split is very troublesome for those of us of the faith. But nonetheless, I'm sure that they will all find a way to bring themselves back together. A chain that is broken is not nearly as strong as a chain that is fastened together.
Hopefully
You see a couple of people like nod very nod at that, like that's a very wise thing he just said. I was like,
hopefully, like any good piece of metal, they can be reforged and made stronger. Yes.
because the only thing that I believe to be stronger than metal is the bond between family.
I agree with that. So we were just curious. You said, obviously, the nimblewright was developed by the eastern side of Cannith. Were the Tears of the Pool used in its construction at all?
No, House Cannith East is based out of the country of Karnath. We are in Breland.
I didn't know if maybe some had been gifted or
No,
not.
they have their own forges. There are many places to build. Though I would have happily welcomed our brothers from Cannith East here as well, but due to the inner turmoil between Merrick's de Cannith
Yes.
of Cannith South and the Lord of Cannith East, well, and West, but they're not a part of this conversation, I do not believe. No, I do not believe that they would use one of our forges, seeing them as potentially lesser, although, of course, that is a misnomer. This pool is a blessing. Now, he's, by the way, walking you over to this forge over here, kind of in the back corner here, and you see working at this forge is there's a kind of a large dark-skinned man. He has a silvery metal arm, and he's just kind of hammering away at what appears to be like a long spear, and working the bellows for him is a construct. Now, Warforged are distinguished in many ways by the symbol that they have on their forehead. All Warforged, when they are created, have this kind of marking on their forehead. It's different for each Warforged. And so that is one way to be able to kind of tell the difference between a true construct and the Warforged who bear this mark. This construct is probably about 6 feet or so tall, wiry, kind of with a wiry build like you. Though it does seem to have hair that you notice appears to be constructed of multi-layered, overlapping metal feathers, and this construct is currently working the bellows, causing the flame to continue to go for the smith right beside him.
So tell me,
This is our nimblewright. We call him Nim, or it rather. We have personified it as a male, though it has no true gender, being it is a construct.
Of course.
Of course, gender is but a construct, is it not?
Indeed.
So Nim was the one on the float then?
Yes, Nim was on the float. That is correct. No, we didn't. No, Nim was not built here. We purchased him.
Do you know of any other nimblewrights in the area?
I have not been made aware. I only purchased mine fairly recently. Though others possibly could have purchased one as well. The price was a steal.
You have indicated a couple times you purchased it. Who did you purchase it from?
We purchased it from a ship captain of one of the... I'm trying to remember his name. There is a circus in town. A Cirque de Etonma, which has recently come from Korth, I believe from Korth is what the captain stated, and they had purchased the nimblewrights from Cannith East there and brought them here. He was selling them for 25,000 gold apiece, which is, for those of you who may not be aware, that price for a true automaton and one that works as well as this one, that was a deal that I could not pass up.
And he had others he was selling one?
I would presume so. Now that I think about it, yes, I do believe he mentioned a couple of different models, though this was the first I saw, and absolutely, I fell in love with it. I mean, look at Nim. Nim, turn around, please. And you see the contract just stop, and it's just this wild hair of feathers, and it's sort of
no
like
Van Dyke beard, though.
no Van Dyke beard, no hat. Completely unclothed, made of for the most part like copper and brass.
Nim, are you able to speak?
Nim cannot speak. Nim is a construct.
I.
Well, though if they were able to, it would be probably more. Well, Nim cannot speak. Although I do not know if that is if that is a trait of all Nimblewrights or just Nim.
Alright. Well, we can always go visit the Cirque de Mine. I actually went there with Lloyd the other day.
So you know where that is, huh?
Yeah.
Fuldred, I don't mean to ask you questions that you may not have the answer to intentionally, but do you know of the Nimblewrights that they had amongst ones to purchase? There's a kind I'm interested in. It's
As I mentioned, I only saw Nim.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. Then I will. In that question.
No, I appreciate your time.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Forge, right?
Fortune.
As he's been talking to us specifically about only seeing one and buying one, has it seemed believable and legit as it's come across?
He's come. You don't have a deep relationship with Forge Smith, but you do. But you do take him to be being sincere.
Okay. We appreciate your time and thank you for allowing everybody to be in here and see the pool and always passing your message on.
Of course.
Is there in here anywhere any kind of like donation, like tithing?
Yeah, there's a kind of up here at the front of the pool, where you could tend to get like the best view of the statue. There is a kind of a donation box made of solid steel.
I will go ahead and thank you for Forge Smith, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna put 3 silver in their tithe box.
Mm-hmm.
We thank you for your donation. He's walking you out, by the way. Thank you for your donation.
And thank you for your time, sir. I hope we didn't take you from any pressing business.
Oh, it is always a joy to speak with those who are interested in the joys of forging. The Nimblewrights are an amazing piece of art. Amazing piece of. You hear that sound of hammering, and you're like, he just kind of keeps stopping because like there's just so much hammering. He's like speaking in between. He's not stuttering like Will is. No. He's speaking in between hammerings. They are really, truly an amazing piece of ingenuity. Of course, nothing will ever be as ingenious as we are, brother.
We're a part of the living.
He does this, which is the Warforged for wink, because Warforged don't blink. So he just goes.
Thank you, Fuldred. Best wishes on the rest of your day. Onata and the 12's blessing.
And to you as well.
Thank you, sir.
Brock kind of lingers behind a little bit and asks, "Are the forges down here? Are they open for anyone to use, or do you have like a reservation system?"
We do ask for a donation.
Right.
And it is. Well, we do not take reservations, as that would be tacky. We're not House Galandra, you see. We do maintain a sign-up board, though, for those who wish to indicate their interest on a particular day, and you turn on this massive chalkboard.
Yeah.
And there's some open spots. Open spots throughout. Most of them are overnight.
Yeah. Hey, Brock is going to pencil himself in for an undisclosed future night.
Yay!
No, what day? How long from now?
Do you need I've got a calendar.
Oh, I do keep a calendar. I may not have all the answers, but I have a calendar.
Okay.
Let's go with how far from now?
Let's say 3 weeks. That seems like a reasonable amount of time to open and shut this case.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
We're talented.
We're good at our jobs.
Can I have a letter race?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and gently throw it over.
17th of Cyprus.
And
Bacchus. Baracus.
What?
We're in Larvion
Oh,
right now.
I'm looking at. I looked at my print off wrong.
and if you need a place
Down, not over.
before and after, so you do not have to travel up and down, you're welcome in my abode. It is
Oh.
just around the corner.
Oh, you have. Oh, right. You said you lived down here. Yeah. No, I might take you up on that.
It's a
Thanks.
long walk back in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
You will find that there is no finer forging in all of Sharn. Dare I say Corvair than here at the pool of Onatar's tears. Save a special project for it.
Look, I already got some ideas, so yeah, looking forward to it.
We look forward to seeing you soon. And what was your name again?
Sorry, I never introduced myself. My name's Brock.
Forgewright Smith.
Good to meet you. Yeah.
Pleasure to meet you as well. And then you hear somebody go, damn it! He goes, I am needed. And he goes over and you can see that a nearby ogre who is holding up a warhammer.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm sorry, no, it's not a warhammer. My apologies. It's a large wooden ladle, large metal ladle. Oh my gosh, he's holding up a metal ladle and it's on fire.
Oh no!
And he goes, how did you do this again? And he walks over. Means to go help.
When did I get penciled in?
That's like you
The
right.
17th of Baracus.
Okay. Alright. So, circus?
Ooh, circus.
Before we went to the circus, since we're down here, do we want to stop by the Red Hammer, which is the tavern, just to see if there's any other rumors of other Nimbarite down here, or would you rather just go to that source?
I mean, we can always do that. It's all the way. No big deal.
It's fine either way. I just figure it's a long walk, so just trying to help organize so we're not walking back and forth.
Well, checking for rumblings may not be a bad idea, but probably no more than just quit popping, I'd say.
And I agree.
Also, it's hot and I'm thirsty.
Yeah, it's a bit warm down here. So I ruffle my
I will
great
be
coat.
honest, it is a Warforged tavern.
Oh,
Okay.
what
Do
do they have to drink
water?
at Warforged Tavern?
Yeah.
Well,
What do you do in a Warforged tavern then?
I believe they do,
It's like the perfect Everett.
but I didn't actually see if they have stuff for others outside of the Warforged.
I don't know the social connotations of that statement.
Find a coy way to say it'd be more fun to roleplay that than to answer
Cool,
that.
cool, yeah.
Insert coy way to say that.
So to
Sometimes possibly, but it depends on the day, so we will have to see once we get there.
all right, well, I'm down for something new. Yeah. Everybody
Your
ready to go
experiences.
get our Warforged on?
Says Brock under his breath. We go.
We go.
There's nothing to cover charges there.
Because I've never been charged.
Well, we'll see.
So, you head over to the Red Hammer. The Red Hammer is a rather unusual business, as you can imagine, as it is a inn and tavern for Warforged. Now, Warforged, as many of you may know, do not need to eat or drink or sleep, but they still hunger for camaraderie. You know that the patron of the Red Hammer is a Warforged by the name of Blue. Blue is also an old soldier, much like you are. And in fact, they're Warforged. All of them are old soldiers. Every single one of them are old soldiers. Why did I even say that? They were built.
This is literally a
They are not
VFW.
called Robo-Forged. They're not called Happy Forged. They are called Warforged. The Warforged, you know it's owned by female Warforged named Blue. So she runs the place. The Red Hammer is built into a cavern wall. It literally looks like it's just like a kind of like a cave entrance. And you can see that there's literally just a red hammer, kind of just spiked. It's like attached to a chain and just spiked over the door, and it's the only symbol sort of designating this. You see that that a number of warforged are kind of milling in and out, a few here and there. You see that and as you walk in, the entire place is filled with warforged. There are it seems pretty standard for a tavern, though built inside of a actual cavern that's been sort of planed down, I guess. You can see that there are tables, there are chairs, there is a bar. You can see that there is there are a number of warforged of various shapes and sizes. A couple of which are in fact clothed like you are, but most warforged, by the way, are not clothed. As you enter, you see a number of faces sort of look at you and give kind of but then sort of look to the four of you with kind of all of them at the same time just like cock their heads, and you notice that you are the only non-warforged in this establishment. Up behind the bar, you can see that there is literally a blue warforged, like blue metal, very, very large, probably about like 7 feet tall, probably about 4 feet wide, shoulder, with giant spikes kind of jutting out, jutting out from their body, shoot like fists the size of your head, and like kind of picking up and handing over pitchers to a warforged who grabs them, walks over, and then puts them down, and then takes the pitcher and goes, "Cheers!" to another warforged who picks up another pitcher, goes, "Cheers!" They would tink, and then they just put them back down on the table. You see that there are pitchers, but you notice that there's a marked lack of cups.
Okay.
Huh. So you wish to take some time in this establishment to ask around, see if you can get any information about the nimble rights, correct?
Yes.
Okay, this will take some time. Gathering information, what a wonderful idea. Picking up rumors. This is a activity. We will say that this will take you an hour. So tell me about your approach. How are you going about finding this information here?
I was going to honestly go as much as possible through Blue herself, especially after hopefully being able to get them some type of beverage. And then while doing so, explaining, in general what I'm doing, and just see if she's heard anything about nimble rights besides the one that the Forge has.
All right.
And just a lot of it's going to be talking up Blue and any of the other ones that are around the bar with Blue.
Sure. So just like asking them, just straight up asking. So here's what I mean by approach. Like, are you trying to smooze them and buy them drinks? Are you trying to? Will's trying to figure out what skill I need to have.
I'm going to try to be friendly, commiserating with the tavern people, like being extremely friendly.
Okay.
Yeah, Brock's gonna be like trading war stories with them, trying to get build up some common ground.
Sure. Okay.
I'm gonna use the old veteran thing. I'm on yet another mission. Yet need veteran help.
Okay, so it sounds like you two are trying to schmooze. You're using a very strategic approach by going straight to the head of the bar. So here's what I need from you guys. I need this is going to be a investigation check. You will be using intelligence. The two of you will be using charisma. You two are providing help. You can offer advantage to one of these three.
I'll give advantage to D.
So that you and D are working together?
I will, I'll help RJ.
Actually, hold on. I'm sorry. I need to take that back real quick. If you're taking an analytical approach and trying to go for the person in the bar, you can use intelligence. If you're trying to just smooth anybody around, you can use charisma. This is a group check. My apologies. It's just a group check. So go ahead and everybody's going to make an investigation check.
Okay. So no.
And your average will determine what happens.
Is that gathering rumors?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Investigation, gathering rumors, charisma is the base if you're smoothing, intelligence if you're taking the analytical approach.
I get it.
Gesundheit.
And if you have expertise and then expertise, it goes up a die.
Yes, D6.
19.
10.
-1, so 18.
Sorry, what was this again? I'm
Investigation.
investigation, but I'm using charisma. Okay, so I do her. Okay.
What'd you get? 7.
15. Right?
Okay,
you
wonderful.
just you roll.
Through your conversation, at this point, we'll just move on. Through your conversation, here's what you're able to find. You are Blue, who is this giant siege engine of a warforge. Goes, well, darling, been hearing a couple rumors about it. Of course, you know that Smith got himself one over there. Me and Crucible were talking about it. Oh boy, that Nim is just the most interesting looking thing I'd ever seen. Am I
Hair.
right? It's so weird. It's very strange. I imagine it's like what humans must feel when they look at it, like a chimpanzee or something. It's like, that's kind of like us, but it's not.
Yeah.
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 It's a very strange feeling. Anyway, yeah, I had heard from one of the regulars that that Lady Urtane herself has picked one up recently as a curiosity.
Lady Urtane?
Urtane, mm-hmm. I'm sure you know of the Urtane family. The Urtane family, and I'm going to give this to you. Actually, I'm going to give this to all of you, all from Sharn. The Urtane family is the most powerful family in Sharn.
Oh, okay.
The richest, most powerful family in Sharn. The trendsetters, the Sharn's, basically, it's Sharn's original noble family. The Urtane. They're the Tanes. Yeah. Lady Celeria Urtane herself picked up one as a novelty. She was I had heard that she was showing it off at one of her most recent gala. Of course, you know how Rook tends to be when telling his stories. Though he claimed he was there himself. Oh yeah. Actually, warforged do have working eyebrows. They don't have eyebrows, but they have working this.
Yeah.
So it's like.
So, did he say what this noble ride looked like?
No. I tend to drone him out because he started to spend his time talking about all the fancy conversations he had with people I'm pretty sure he didn't have conversations with. I'm sure you know the type, sweetheart. Men always try to boast around the women folk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that here.
I'm sorry, what was that? You
I
sounded
said-
like you had a big old mouthful of
I
gruel in your
said
mouth.
I'm not going to argue that statement.
Oh, yeah, that's probably not a good idea. I own this bar. Arguing with me is a bad idea.
Lou, whether you own this bar or not, arguing with you is a bad idea. Let's be honest.
That's the truth, RJ. Heck. Now, anyway, you were. I sure hope that water is doing well. It's like tepid, lukewarm water.
That's perfect.
It's the best I can find. You guys just have a pitcher, a piece of water, just a big old pitcher of just tepid, lukewarm water.
Perfect. Who wants cold water?
Finally, something Cite for me. Hey.
You're a big one yourself.
Hey. Yes. Doors, right?
Yes, doors.
Thank you.
You are right. They're never tall enough. You know, I went over to I stepped into a House Galandra tavern to get some ideas about what to do with my own.
Right.
That's where I got the idea of the bearskin rug. You look over, there's just like there actually is a bearskin rug, but it's like in a corner underneath one table. She's like, that's where I got the idea for the bearskin rug. I hid the face into the corner, otherwise it tends to frighten people, you know. Plus, also, now that I think about it, a bearskin rug in Breland, well, that's a bit odd, isn't it? Regretted that purchase. Anyway, sat in one of them halfling chairs, broke it immediately. It's like they don't even know people of our size.
I feel seen. Thank you.
You are seen. You're right there.
Here
I'm
I
just
am.
kidding. I understand
Okay.
the phrase.
Okay. I can't tell.
Well, we appreciate it, Blue. And we appreciate the drinks. I just was trying to show them around down here, trying to figure out some stuff, and we appreciate the time.
All right. Well, I'm going to get back to some of the other regulars, and you need anything else, you just let me know. Enjoy them waters. Let me know when you need a refill.
Thanks.
And,
What a nice lady.
Oh, goodness.
Sitting quietly.
All right.
You
Well,
finish your drinks, and the day's starting to get a little bit late.
Yeah.
With that long walk to get here, the conversation, and the time spent here kind of smoozing up the place. And as you guys leave, by the way, a number of Warforged hold up their pictures as a hey. You seem to be fairly welcomed here too, and you all seem fairly charming. Where do you think is your next step? As you have about an hour left in the day.
I would say we would go back and start our investigation anew the next day.
I don't know how late the carnival is open, but best foot forward is probably ideal.
Sounds like a plan. Okay, well, we will go ahead and end tonight's session with you guys heading back home. Are you walking or taking the sky taxi?
I would suggest a sky coach.
I would love a sky coach.
Go ahead and knock 5 silver pieces off of your character sheets, and we will we'll go ahead then and call that a session. Woo! Exciting!
Session complete.
Session complete.
Wait, it's not complete yet.
Well, no, we haven't had the wrap up either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dang it.
No, but the session portion is complete.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so Dennis, first session. What'd you think, man?
I enjoyed it. It was.
That's good.
That's good. That's good. Okay, well, so what I like to do at the end of each of the sessions is I kind of like to see where the characters are standing at this point. So we're going to go ahead and I'll go last with you. We're going to start with you, Connor. Connor, where's Colton standing at this point? It's been a long day that began with a terrifying explosion and has ended in the middle of a investigation. Where's Colton at mentally and emotionally?
This was definitely a lot more pleasant than where the day started. We've met some nice people. We've got a little bit of information, but Colton kind of feels like we're still spinning our wheels just a little bit, other than we do have a new lead with the circus. But overall, day definitely ended better than it started.
Sarah, where's Deidre at this point?
D is wanting to go through this, but is very kind of just resentful of the additional weight on her back at this point. With RJ being added by by Mr. Krabby Pants. So that's where she's at this moment.
Brock is probably not really too sure how to feel about RJ yet. He's definitely making an effort to get along with us, which is good. But there's also been a hole in our team for a few months now that he's not sure. I don't know that he's really emotionally prepared to have that filled by another person just yet.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah.
So even though it's probably a little unfair to RJ, I think he might feel a little like, I don't know, like subconsciously resentful of it.
Sure. What about Adelaide? Where's she at?
Adelaide is, obviously, like Colton's feeling that the day started pretty shitty and still trying to unpack that, right? We're not 24 hours off of losing a friend again, unable to protect people, and then having Delft come in. And while the help with RJ is appreciated, it also came with more reprimanding from Delft about our actions and what we're doing. And I think it probably is making her and losing someone, right? Losing Braun and Delft and in the addition of RJ, I think it is the hurt and the loss and the missing of Valance, I think, is creeping back up to the forefront for her.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. All right, well, I know your character just joined us today, but how's RJ feeling about his first day on the job with this new crew?
So, RJ started off at the White Stag, knowing that he was getting assigned to help them organize, and he understood what the assignment was on paper, and then immediately it went from a basic assignment that he was like, okay, I'm going to do my job, to immediately this has to deal with an automaton. It has to do with immediately in his space, which down in the cogs, it immediately had to deal with things that he knows, his religion, his people, and so it stopped being strictly business immediately with people that he has to try to work professionally with and has no immediate connections with, and he has to share this space with them. If it was if it had been previously where he got solo assignments, he was given this assignment, he would have gone down there, he would have investigated on his own. He now has a team that he's supposed to be helping organize, and in his head he's like, but this is so much more now.
Right.
So it went from a very simple thing to very overwhelming in 2.5 seconds. And he pretty much left the idea of, oh, I've got to settle in, because there is no settle in. This is now in my lap.
Yeah, no, that's instant. Oh, I have to expose myself to these new people. Yeah, no, I love
Welcome
it.
to the team.
Yeah, welcome to the team. All right, well, cool. Well, we here at Besties and Besties want to thank you so much for being here and watching us. We hope that you tune in a couple of weeks to the continuation of the Nimble Right investigation. And again, we hope to see you in a few weeks.
In the basement.
Hey,
That's the line.
That's the line.
He said the
That's
line. Good night, everybody.
Goodbye.